Pretty boring day for Palantir stock today, guys, but to be honest, sometimes boring is good. We can see the stock went down a whopping 2 cents on the day, down 0.1%. We closed at $22.70. And earlier in the day, forget about the red day, guys, barely 2 cent red day, not a big deal. What is a big deal, though, is the fact that we took out the highs from yesterday. You guys can see we closed at $22.75, roughly in that ballpark. And today, guys, we hit $23 at about 11 a.m. So you guys can see Palantir opened up, consolidated at around 22.50 in the morning. If I zoom in a little bit, we can see we chopped around there for the first 10-15 minutes, which isn't unusual. Then we picked our direction, which was up, which is good, and we took out those highs. That's awesome, right? And you can see here on the 5-day, we're not necessarily breaking out quite yet. It's not like, okay, we took out these highs, now we're breaking out. That's not necessarily what's going on, but we are noticing just some consolidation, right? And, slight initial signs of potentially us going up even more here, which we'll see on Thursday, Friday, tomorrow, the next day, how that ends up playing out. But I am noticing signs of consolidation. Obviously, you guys can see here we've been holding at about, notice how on the 1st of April, 2 days ago on Monday, we held 22.40, right, roughly right. Yesterday, yes, we did go under it to 21.70, but we ultimately rebounded over it and closed back over 22.40. And this morning, where we chopped around a bit, it was right around, 22.40, right around here. Then we rallied off of it. So the fact that we're holding that is a pretty good sign, I'd say, in the short term here. So now we just have to wait and see if we get the same thing tomorrow. And by same thing, I mean, okay, do we take out the highs tomorrow? Do we take out the highs from yesterday, which is today, guys? So let's say tomorrow we gap up above $23 to $23.50, $24. I would argue, well, I'm sure it's not even an argument. I would say that's a success, right? But we're just not seeing that yet. So I'm going to set my alert for tomorrow at $23, which is right by the high from today. And I'll do another one at $23.50 for the very short term here on Palantir. Let me do that. Mark is at or above $23.50. There we go. And let's see the other time frames. Really, guys, today was just a consolidation day. And to be honest, nothing crazy really happened. But we are now noticing, okay, this is something worth mentioning. We do have an inverse head and shoulders on this 10-day, 30-minute. Do you guys see this right here? We have the left shoulder. We have the head right here, which kind of formed yesterday as we dumped down a 21.70. And now we have the right shoulder. Looks like it's trying to form here, in the 22.50 range. And the neckline overall is at about, $22.40, which, again, we held on Monday, and we held that this morning. So let's see if Palantir can start now breaking out, which we're not, again, getting that sign yet, but we do have the alert set, $23.50. And either way, guys, whether it breaks out, whether it comes down, I think it's a win-win scenario because we've covered the levels on the downside here that I'm looking at, which I'm confident that Palantir is not going to go much under these levels. We covered 20, we covered $21.75. Sure, it could go under that one. That's pretty close to where we are now. But under 20 towards 18.50, I wouldn't call that a stretch. I mean, that could be the worst this sell-off gets, in my opinion. Under 18.50, though, I would call that a stretch. I mean, we called that, we talked about that in another video recently. And by stretch, I mean in the short term, right? Could I see Palantir go to $15 if the company fundamentally doesn't execute over the next couple of years? Sure, in that case, they deserve to go to $15 per share. But do I see them completely collapsing with no fundamental shift in the business, with the way the stock market in general is looking right now? Not necessarily. I just don't see that happening. Now, granted, if we get an overall stock market crash with the fundamentally deteriorating business, that's the double whammy for the Bears. That would not be good for Palantir. But, I don't see their business fundamentally deteriorating by any means. I mean, I don't know. It's possible. You never know. It could happen, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. But, the stock market crash scenario, that could be more valid in the short term, which in that case, okay, Palantir might come down, but I don't necessarily see that happening either. But we'll see. You never know. So the worst I see it getting in the very short term, guys, is 1850, which, like I've said before, that's where I'll be buying more Palantir, 1850. That's where I'll be buying Palantir, a bunch of it in the 1850 to $20 range. 20 to 21.50, I'll be buying maybe a little bit in that window, but really, if it gets under $20, I'm going to be going hard. So what do you guys think about Palantir? I mean, again, today was just a consolidation day, but do you guys see what's going on this 10-day? I mean, you guys see that inverse head and shoulders forming, right? Now let's wait for the confirmation, right? So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and let's cover some other stocks quickly that did fairly well today. We had AG, which is First Majestic Silver, as silver is going bananas. I mean, this one's going haywire, so make sure you guys add this one to your watch list. This one up 17% pretty much on the day. It hit a fresh high on the 4-hour chart. And on the 1-year chart, we're getting close to that high, which is at $8. So keep your eyes on that momentum. It's definitely there. We have Netflix looking pretty interesting. NFLX is the ticker. This looks like it's trying to test. Well, it is testing the highs from a couple of days ago, which 634 is where we hit. So we're testing that spot right now. If that breaks on Netflix, we could be taking off, which would be quite interesting there, maybe for the mid 600s. And by the way, earnings are coming up on Netflix. Earnings are right around the corner on the 18th of April, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow, guys. So get ready. Big tech earnings are right around the corner. So yeah, Netflix did pretty well today, looking like it wants, it might want to break out even before earnings. And it looks like AMD is still doing its thing in the low 180s, waiting for that pop. I'm waiting for the pop here to see if it starts pushing the mid-high 180s. That could be a breakout spot on AMD. So let me set my alert at 185. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And you might as well get your 7 fractional shares of the Mag 7 stocks for Moo by using that link down below, checking out the QR code right here, or by going to stocksurfs.com/Moo. Once you open up your account and fund it with at least $100, you get those 7 fractional Mag 7 stocks. And if you want to opt for the other option, if you want to bring a new account over to Moo for the first time from another brokerage, you can do that and get a 1.5% cash match, right? You can get, let's say, if you bring over a $20,000 account, which I think is the limit, you can get $300 by doing that, guys. So check out the link down below, or by going to stocksurfs.com/Moo. Check out the QR code right here. And with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you all later.